February 7, 1992 was a day to celebrate. 12 European countries signed the Treaty on European Union. The Maastricht Treaty was designed to integrate Europe into one political and economic superpower. It would reduce trade barriers, creating the world's largest free market made up of 340 million people. To further promote trade, it could create a single currency for all 12 nations by the end of the 90s.
From the viewpoint of people who do believe in the European integration process, that the bottle is more than half full. And this is a victory for Europe and a victory for the integration process.
The path to the treaty began in the 50s when trade and custom unions formed in Western Europe. Their goal, to rebuild economies that were destroyed by World War II. These pacts led 6 nations to form the European Community in 1967. The EC's customs-free common market was so successful, another 6 countries joined by 1986. In 1991, member nations gathered in Maastricht, the Netherlands, to finalize details of the Treaty on European Union. They decided the EC should develop its own defense force, foreign policies, labor agreements, and common currency. Germany's Helmut Kohl called the treaty a decisive breakthrough, and Francis Mitterrand said Europe was embarking on a great adventure.
Could, he said, henceforth regard itself as the greatest world power in trade, in industry, and in research. Maastricht would bring the greatest changes since the Treaty of Rome.
But some countries were hesitant to give up their national currencies. British Prime Minister John Major insisted that Britain retain the option to forego the European common currency. Major also forced the EC to drop a provision giving it the right to govern workers' rights issues in member countries.
I was not prepared to risk Britain's competitive position as the European magnet for inward investment. I was not prepared to put British jobs on the line.
Major's insistence on special treatment for Britain upset some other EC countries that wanted to move forward.
The history of our Europe learns us that even when 1 or 2 member states lag behind a little bit, the final analysis, they'll follow.
European community leaders watched as implementation of the treaty slowed during a recession in 1992 and 93. Denmark and the United Kingdom indicated they probably would not join the single currency system. But in 1994, as the recession was ending in most European countries, interest in unification was revived. Once again, Europe was faced with the challenge of transforming 12 governments and their currencies into one by the end of the century.